Gavin Newsom's Davos cuck chair. I can't believe I'm saying cuck. So, Aaron, Davos, Gavin Newsom was relegated to the back of the room behind true heavyweights like White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, Scott Bessent, Marco Rubio. They call it the proverbial cuck chair, where beta husbands sit in the corner of the bedroom and watch their wife be intimate with another gentleman. I myself have never heard of a cuck chair. You know, I have a fainting couch.
Oh, wow.
But I don't have a cuck chair. Was this just a big loss for Gavin going there and looking stupid?
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be Gavin Newsom if he didn't look stupid doing whatever he's doing. It's kind of his trademark. I will say, Trump went to Davos for America. Gavin went to Davos to audition for president. And what did he get? Not invited to the party. And Stephen A. Smith went on a rant on his show about this that I thought was right. Gavin went there to talk poorly about the United States, to talk poorly about our leader, to talk poorly about the direction of our country. And Stephen A. Smith, and this used to be true, that politics ends at the water's edge. When the president is abroad, we don't talk poorly about our country because he's representing our country. And I think Stephen's point was right on this, right? We don't take our dirty laundry out of the house to air it for everybody. We keep our crazy at home. Let's argue here in the United States. And when we go abroad, it's America first. But Gavin Newsom doesn't see it that way because he's so full of himself. And a man like that, that's exactly why he ends up in the cuck chair in the back of the room and not on the stage.
And you know, excellent. Emily, he also brought these knee pads. Did you follow the whole knee pad story? Now, it seems to me he's making light of, he's basically saying that these guys are orally pleasuring Trump, the foreign leaders.
Yes.
And I feel like that is a homophobic slight against the millions of gay men who engage in sodomy. Why won't anybody speak for them, Emily? Will you? No one's asked. I mean, let me put it this way. If a Republican brought knee pads they would be called homophobic.
Absolutely. They would be vilified in the press here and abroad. I also think that it's really embarrassing how the theatrics that he's been doing for the dopamine hits and the likes and the clicks that he's brought outside of our country. He literally treated Davos, which, sure, as we've been saying, it's not as if it's austere. It's traditionally where everyone goes just to rub elbows and align, you know, sort of thoughts and narratives for the upcoming year, and really no solutions or decisions are ever really made there. But at the same time, it's a representation of the United States, and it's at a gathering globally. And he brought, you know, props, essentially. But I'll say this, because I feel like it shows, too, what a joke he is, that he put breaking news on his Twitter when he was left out of that party. Breaking news that he was left out. You don't tell anyone that. That is the most embarrassing thing ever if you're not allowed into a party. And here he is putting it online with, by the way, the millions of Californians that breaking news still don't have homes while he is gallivanting in Switzerland. And then he called Trump's speech remarkably insignificant. No, you, sir, are remarkably insignificant.
Yeah, it seemed like a really big mistake to get yourself compared to Trump on the world stage, where he came in and just was the boss.
Well, you know, a couple of things that Emily said that were just so inaccurate that I just can't let go.
What?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
What?
Gavin was not there to rub elbows, hence why he brought knee pads. Okay, so let's just get that clear right away. And I got to give it to Gavin. He's rather clever, rather astute. He's going through customs. They discovered the knee pads. And I'm like, sir, what are these for? A prop. I'm here to use them in a speech to get Trump, because that's not what he knew what they were for. You know, the knee pads or what. Like, because it had to be for that. Because you thinking at his evil headquarters in burnt up California somewhere in a swamp. Yeah. They're like, how are we going to get him when we go to Europe? What do we have? Well, we have financial flexibility. We have the economy. We have this. And then old Joe in the back's like, I got a pair of knee pads you use. Like that was the plan. That's what you did, Gavin. Listen, stick to negotiating with your hands. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there were so many deaf prostitutes there, I'm sure, that he could have done his thing, you know, but he had the knee pads in his hands, you know. What else does it look like? He's literally lip syncing, masturbating to the world, and no one's calling him on it but me. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. But here's the part that lets you know the difference between a Gavin Newsom and a President Trump. When President Trump went there and Gavin came up, what did he do? He's a smart man. He's a good guy. I can work. He knows he can't stand him, but he knows you don't let dirty laundry outside the house. Gavin thought he could use it as an advantage to bury Trump, but he just becomes the ex-wife at the family reunion, where everybody's having a good time, everyone's laughing, like, oh, hey, Tyrus, you lost weight, and this, that, and this. Well, he lost weight because he's chasing all the whores around, and then everyone's like, and they're like, all of a sudden, up there goes dinner, you know? And that's what he is. He's just the old bitch in the corner trying to ruin everybody's good time.
Yeah. Did he get anything good out of this, Paul?
I mean, the images are hilarious. They're all of the principals, right? And you see him like hovering in the background, like, hey, guys, wait up.
On the cuck chair.
Hey, I'm over here.
I think now I have to use the phrase cuck chair at every opportunity.
Yeah. It needs to just be his segment.
Yeah.
Cucking with
Cucking. Did you ever hear of the phrase cuck chair? Did they have that in the police?
Might be sitting in one. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, that aspect of it is embarrassing. And think about that. Like, okay, he's auditioning for president. Let's give him his first wish, right? Let's say he gets it, right? Now he's got to go over there. He's going to talk to Europe, right? They're going to be, so you was the one who brought over those knee pads.
Yeah.
All right? Remember you asshole. So, I mean, what a great way to get off the stick. And not only that, but, as you say, he's over there trying to tell them how to run their continent, right? I know better. You should listen to me.
Yeah.
The French rebuilt Notre Dame in, 5-6 years? Has one stick been laid on a house in the Palisades?
No.
He's the guy with the train to nowhere. Last time I looked, the European trains are pretty good. So he has no way to go on this, and he's just made a transatlantic jackass of himself, really.
There you go. All right. Up next, Chris Cuomo's rage.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.